Before we do anything this hour, we want to check in with Chris. How you doing,
Chris? How you feeling?
I'm doing well. The beast comes at night. You know, as we know, the healthcare workers have taken to calling the virus the beast. I understand why. My fever has gone up a couple of degrees in like the last 30 minutes. Nights are tough. And I've learned something that I didn't know before. It is responsible journalism to say that 80% of people who get this statistically wind up okay, meaning they don't go to the hospital, they get through it. It is not humanly responsible, though, from an ethical perspective. Now that I'm one of the anointed and these people reach out to me, you suffer when you have this at home unless you are ridiculously lucky statistically and maybe karmically as well. I can't tell you how many stories I've had of people who have had over 100, 102 fever for 8, 10, 12 days. And just to tell you what kind of toll that can take. Look, it's not about life or death. I don't mean it that way. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing the show. I'm not looking to scare people. I'm trying to do the opposite. I've lost 13 pounds in 3 days. Wow. Now, I'm a big guy. I started off at 230 pounds. My wife is feeding me like, you know, we were still in the dating phase. You know, so it's not like I'm hurting for nutrition. I'm eating and drinking constantly. I'm just sweating it out, and it's the sickness. So, yeah, 80%, we're going to make it through. But the idea that it's easy, so you can be nonchalant, that is so misleading, fellas. That I now know for fact.
Are you saying she fed you better in the dating phase?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, that's a whole other story.
That's a whole other situation, Anderson. I can't. That'll take us a long time.
Hey, Chris, I just need to say for the record, I think Anderson agree with me. We had suggested you not work right now. I mean, I know you're incapable of not working and talking about this, but just for the record, we did suggest that. I do have a question though for you, because you know you're a journalist and now you're dealing with this for real time. And you're probably always trying to figure out how to take care of yourself and digging like a journalist does. What are you learning? I mean, you're really in it now. Have you learned anything that works for you?
Here's what I know, that the chicken soup is not just anecdotal. You look online, even if you go to JAMA, you know, the Journal of American, go to the Medical Association Journal. That has worked for me, I believe. I believe that it has helped me lower my fever in periods. I have been counseled to try to endure fever as much as I can because the fever is the body's fighting mechanism. Now, what I've also learned is there is so much BS on the internet that people are trying to peddle as cures, fake pills, fake tonics, these mixtures of things that are actually decent ingredients. Vitamin C, vitamin D are great supplements to have, but 10,000, 20,000 units they want you to take of this. You're not going to overdose, but you know it can be really hard on your system. People are selling a lot of lies, and people are buying them up because of the desperation, and I get it, but they don't work. There's no proof in any of them, and I think we have to be very careful about people preying on desperation.
So what do you anticipate tonight? I mean, you talked earlier with the governor, with your brother, and we revealed that he came to you in a ballet costume with a wand during the bad night you had last night. What does a night look like for you? You said your fever is spiked. What do you think your fever is about right now?
Well, I could probably tell you if you want, but it's probably around 101-ish. Now, I run a little cool. My normal temperature is 97.6, not 98.6. So even when I'm at 99, that would not be a big deal for most people. But for me, I'm already warm. So what happens is at night, you know, your body temperature goes up in the late afternoon anyway. This is anybody with a kid, knows that dance. But I will get pain in my face now, headaches, profuse sweating. Literally, my vision in my left eye is a little blurry from pressure, from sinus pressure, and some manifestation of the virus. I've talked to several clinicians and experts in this. They've all said it's a very common thing. And then you can't sleep because you have a fever. And you have these wicked phantasmagorical experiences that are not dreams. When I say I saw my father sitting on the end of the bed, I would have gladly raised my hand as an affiant and testified to it under oath easily. Why? Because the fever, because your body's all screwed up. So what I'm saying is, yeah, I'm going to make fun of some of this stuff, but it isn't funny when you're living it for people. And I do not mean to dismiss their pain. I'm just trying to help people not be too spooked, because everybody's so spooked about getting this that if I get it, what will happen? You'll survive. But at the same time, if you think you're going to take the social distancing lightly, or you're going to be nonchalant with any of the beautiful things that Sanjay laid out in that video, I am asking them to send me a copy of your video, Sanjay, because Christina has been going through those protocols in the house. You know, she's taking care of all of us right now, and it's so important to do everything the right way. Otherwise, you wind up exposing yourself. But I'm just telling you, Anderson, you'd make it. But it's so hard that to say, it's nothing, don't worry about it, is totally disingenuous, because you are going to experience things you likely never have.
I'm glad you said, because part of me has thought, you know, I'd rather just get this now and get it over with. And I mentioned that to my doctor the other day, and my doctor was like, that's idiotic. You don't want to get this at all, obviously.
Look, I wish I would have gotten it sooner, but, you know, so I could have told this stuff to people a month and a half ago, and we could have broken this bubble of everything's going to be okay, you know. And obviously, I'd always rather have it than any of the people in my family. And thank God they're still they're still asymptomatic. But you don't want it, brother. I tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. We talk about, you know, the numbers of people who lived and people who have died, but, you know, this is the in-between part, which can be pretty brutal. I mean, you know, Chris, it's interesting because obviously you're here talking to us. You were at your brother's briefing today. He said that he thinks that you having the virus is going to be a great public service. And I think he was being honest. I don't think he was being ironic when he said that. But, I mean, what, is that your goal here? I mean, right now, talking to us even?
Yeah, it's my only goal. Because in between doing this hit or doing my show, sorry about the phone call, you know, we have a gate at the house that we're renting. So every time somebody drops something off, the thing goes off. Sorry about it. Anyway, I can't let anybody in the house. You know what I mean? They can't come through the gate because I don't want to get them to expose anything. In between the hits and in between when I'm doing the show, I am a waste. I sleep probably 10 hours of the day, if I can, you know, in and out. I try to walk and do these breathing exercises because I'm petrified of getting pneumonia. I have a really good friend who had the same symptoms I did. She's every bit as strong, if not in better shape than I am. And she had 3-4 days good, and now she's got this thing attached to her face that I never want to see in person, let alone have. And it scared the hell out of me because the unknown is frightening. And you lose any illusions about yourself real fast. And I'm hoping that people see, all right, he's making it, but he's not full of it either. He's not telling me this is some cakewalk, because that would be a lie. And I want people to know that you can deal with it if you get it. Don't be so afraid of this virus that it puts you into a panic and that it keeps you from making smart decisions. Conversely, don't make reckless decisions either because you think you'll breeze through. I haven't heard of anybody who has.
And Chris, I just quickly, I know we're running out of time, but I mean, again, because I want people to realize that, and we talk even after the show, so people are checking in on you because, you know, people are really worried. But you also have an oxygen monitor as well, is that right? I mean, you are checking your own oxygenation.
Yes.
And what is that for?
So it's really important, Anderson, thank you. It gives you 2 measurements. You put your finger in it, it's an infrared. They're like sold out now. People sent me a bunch. I'm trying to get them at the office so I can give them to people. People have been so generous, man. I got to tell you, when we say that in the worst of times, the best of us comes out, it is so much more true than it is just trite. And what it does is you put your finger in it, and you have to have warm fingers. And as my doctor explained it to me in a very funny way, she said, you should take it the way somebody takes a marriage proposal. Never go with the first offer. Always work it a little bit. So when you put your finger in it, you'll get your blood oxygen level. You need it to be above 94 or so. But it may not be because it's infrared and it's not precise. So you do it a few times. And it tells you what the percentage of oxygenated blood is that you have. And if it's below 94, you're starting to get into an area of potential distress. And it gives you that and your heartbeat. The heartbeat is not as sensitive unless you're in a labored breathing situation. But I check it 8-9 times a day.
Chris, we wish you the best. And I hope tonight's not as bad as last night.
And I hope if I have to have somebody dancing around doing funny things, it's neither of you two guys, because I don't want to have that image in my head. No, listen, thank you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell people it's not a cakewalk, but we can get through it. And if you don't have people around you to take care of you the way I'm blessed to have, reach out to people who you know who have this. Do whatever you can to help them.
And just to be clear, I mean, you don't know necessarily how you got this. I mean, you were doing as much as anybody on social distancing and stuff, right?
Probably no, because of the job. You know, I mean, I was talking to a lot of people and going to places, and I was not thinking that I wouldn't get this. I thought I would get it. But I was not going out of my way to be a fool about it. You know, I mean, I was trying to do things that are reasonable within the lines of what our work is, especially given the situation I'm in with the state right now. Like when I do have a couple of good hours, I'm still trying to help with procurement. for the state, because they really are fighting state by state, which is so stupid, to get the equipment that they need. So I don't know how I got it. And most people don't, Anderson. And we're so far behind on testing. We're telling ourselves these lies about testing. We're nowhere near where we need to be. And we're not going to be in this wave. So nobody knows how they got it, really.
Yeah. Chris, thank you very much.
Call you
Appreciate
later.
it.